I've been in recovery, started maybe 8 years ago. And during that time, I did the 12 steps with 3 different sponsors. And there was one person who came up the first time I went through the 12 steps. Step 8 is to list out all persons we did something wrong to. Step 9 is to actually make it right with them. So I went through it with my first sponsor and did the whole amends, wrote it out. But it became clear 2 or 3 years later that this person was still upset with me. So I brought it to my new sponsor. And I said that I had already made amends. So he said, do you have it somewhere? And I actually did. I had done it on an app on my phone as well. So I had it written and I showed him what I wrote. And he said, I'm astonished that your last sponsor let you get away with this. He said, the whole thing is about you. He said, I want you to write a new amends to this person. And the word I does not exist in there. You went through this, and this is what it must have felt like. And this is how it must have affected you. And this, put it through the other person, not I was going through a difficult time and therefore I did this. You were walking down the street and I decided that's maybe I could come there. And I decided to do this to you. And it must have affected you in this way. And I've no doubt it affected you in this way. And this is what I've done until now. And specifically, how can I make it right? So what you're saying dovetails well with that. We take the I out of it. It's like remove I everywhere. Realistically, when I say remove I everywhere, it's impossible to get every single I out. But in the first version, every sentence started with that.
When you've wronged somebody, and you want to make it right, the person you've wronged doesn't have to hear that much about your guilt. Obviously, they should know that you don't feel good about what you've done, but be very careful not to elaborate too much on that, because it's not about you. It's about the person you're trying to appease. It's about how they feel.
I've made this point to someone, and we used the term living amends before, but we didn't elaborate on it. I've made the point to someone that I think it's in some ways more important than the direct amends. For example, let's say someone stole money from another person and came to them and said, I'm terribly sorry about it. I can't return the full amount. So I'm going to start paying you in installments. Version 1. I think that person who went through it, he wants the money back, but as far as forgiveness, could reach 100% forgiveness. Okay, they did it. They're doing everything possible to restore it. Versus another one who came and said, I stole $100 from you. Here it is back. I'm terribly sorry about it. Here it is.
Can I have a receipt?
Correct. And the next week, you hear in Shul that he stole $100 from someone else.
Right.
So that person has been repaid 100%, but they won't feel good about it at all. Like, well, you felt bad. Yeah, you felt bad. You got caught. So now you gave it back, but now you're doing it again. And that's the living amends. The living amends is I could never undo wrongs from my past, but I cannot do it again to anyone else.
Somebody told me the other day, I was in Brooklyn and I was trying to park. You know how hard it is to park in Brooklyn. Someone said to me, someone says to me, there's always a parking spot. Question is how much it costs. Right. So it's like unrepentantly parking in front of the fire hydrant and, okay, so I'll pay the fine. So that's basically saying, yeah, all right, I wronged you. You got to pay for it. I got caught, got to pay for it. But the guy's unrepentant. He didn't change his ways. Yeah. So that doesn't feel good.